Hello everyone, I'm Mike Gibson and this is the program Capital Ideas Life. I've been living in the capital of Russia for many years. For me, Moscow is the most comfortable city for both living and work. I am delighted that together with our great team, I can show you this amazing city from an unusual point of view, discover its secrets, and find out just what it is that attracts foreigners from all over the world. So, let's get started.
On today's program, the North River Station after restoration, a new center of attraction in the city. Why the English writer H.G. Wells called Gorky Park the factory of happy people. Days of Indian, Indonesian, Thai, and Japanese culture in Moscow parks. How does culture help to strengthen economic relations between countries?
Today, almost 90% of Muscovites live near a park. The residents of the capital can walk in the fresh air, they can play sports, ride bikes and scooters, and even dance outdoors all year round. You can even discover Moscow's history in the parks. For example, in this park in the north of Moscow, after a beautiful reconstruction, the historic Northern River Station once again opened its doors. The Northern River Station is one of the most famous Moscow architectural monuments of those constructed in the first half of the 20th century. The building was built in 1937, designed by Soviet architects Alexei Rukhledev and Vladimir Krinsky. The construction of the station was carried out simultaneously with the construction of the Moscow Canal, which was such an undertaking that it was given its own discussion in one of our previous programs. The Northern River Station on the bank of the Khimsky Reservoir was to become one of the symbols of Stalin's new Moscow. And the city itself, after opening of the canal, was to become a port of the 5 seas. From here, river ships could reach the Azov, Black, Caspian, Baltic, and White Seas. The building itself looks like a vast 2-decked ship. According to the architect's vision, the central part of the station with the main entrance and the tower is designed to be like the hull of a ship and the cabins. The open galleries with fountains at the north and south are the bow and stern, and the colonnades around the perimeter of the building are the deck. Like a mast, the station tower is adorned with a 27-meter metal spire with a retractable mechanism. I've heard there are some unique mechanisms here.
Yes.
The star goes up and down. What is it for?
Exactly. It's very interesting. Let's call it a device.
Yes, a device. That's great.
It signals the beginning of navigation. That is, when the passengers have embarked on their journey. The spire goes up, and that indicates that the port is open and that visitors are being received.
As you can see, now the spire is up. This means that every day huge motor ships depart from the pier of the Northern River Station.
From Moscow to the north, we go as far as St. Petersburg or the Solovetsky Islands, which is the White Sea. East, we go to Kazan, Perm, and Ufa. South to Astrakhan and Rostov. But apart from that, there are many shorter cruises. On the Volga, we can visit the ancient cities that are part of the Golden Ring of Russia, Uglich, Yaroslavl, and Kostroma. Or we can travel along the Oka, which is a tributary of the Volga.
This season, Moscow cruise companies have developed several new interesting river itineraries.
For example, a new route has been charted, with a stop at the Ladoga Skerries in Karelia. At the northern end of Lake Ladoga, there is a nature reserve by the name of Ladoga Skerries. They are very similar to the famous Norwegian fjords, but I would say they are more beautiful, more charismatic, atmospheric.
But before you go on a river cruise, we advise you to visit the building of the Northern River Station itself. It is a true monument of Soviet history and architecture. And now you can see it exactly as it was originally designed and built. For more than half a century, the station worked for its intended purpose, but in the 1990s, there were significantly fewer passengers and the building was neglected. The roof leaked, the walls deteriorated, and the park fell into disrepair. It was just recently, in 2018, that major restoration began. In the course of the restoration, specialists managed to preserve most of the original details of the interior. What could not be restored was made anew according to historical patterns and drawings. The experts managed to fully restore the building's facade and the 4 anchors on the spire. The 4 huge sculptures standing on the central part of the building were also restored. On the columns of the central entranceway, there are 24 beautifully restored ceramic reliefs. 12 medallions are arranged symmetrically on each of the facades of the station. The diameter of each medallion is 1.5 meters. They depict Lenin's mausoleum, the Kremlin, Kievska metro station, one of Stalin's 7 sisters, and other iconic landmarks of Moscow. The station's tower clock has also been restored to its former glory. This old mechanism has been replaced by a new automatic one. In the courtyards, there are 2 historical fountains. This is the North Fountain, and that is the South Fountain. Both fountains symbolize the union of northern and southern riverways in Moscow. The Fountain North was designed by architects adhering to the Arctic style. At the very top, there is a menagerie of birds, figures of loons and wild geese. The entire composition is supported by 3 marble polar bears. The Fountain South is decorated with 9 copper dolphins. The authors intended that they remind visitors of Crimea and the Black Sea. All the historical details of the river station have been carefully restored. We're now inside the main lobby, where we can see exactly what it was like many years ago. When you come here, be sure to look up. On the ceiling there are caissons, rectangular recesses decorated with paintings depicting river themes. On the walls and windows, one can see painted bright coats of arms of the Soviet republics. The hall is surrounded by ceremonial columns and marble flooring. This is the waiting room. It's actually very luxurious. It has a very beautiful ceiling and lovely paintings. In fact, right now there's an exhibition from the Museum of Transport on the theme of ecology. In one of the most beautiful rooms of the Northern River Station, there is a restaurant, Volga. This hall too is decorated with paintings which depict the 9 locks of the Moscow-Volga Canal. Frescoes can also be seen on the ceiling, which show important ships in the history of the Russian Navy. After the restoration, the Northern River Station was revived not only as a unique example of transport architecture, but as a place of rest for Muscovites. Here, you can enjoy these views all year round. It's a very interesting area around here, a lot of interesting things, and as I understand, it's part of some bigger vision.
Of course. The beautification program included not only the development of the Northern River Station itself, but also included the development of the surrounding area. The park here is amazing, as you've already noticed.
And so, what can people do here? For example, if I come out here in the afternoon or in the evening?
There are many different activities on the grounds here. For those interested in doing something more active, there are many different sporting options. Here we have installed bicycle parking for those cyclists who come and visit. In addition to that, of course, there are places for skating and skateboarding. For leisure, there are many different cafes, seafood, Italian. There's something for every taste. You can just come for a run in the morning. And for those who don't like to run, you can come and have a cup of coffee with a croissant. There are also cultural and leisure sites, as well as playgrounds, behind the station.
Unlike the station building, which was restored to its original form, the embankment, on the contrary, was designed to be modern. The architects attempted to use the river theme throughout. And this is a mini copy of the Moscow Canal, complete with all its locks. The length of the embankment of the Northern River Station is almost 1.5 kilometers, or about 1 mile. Here you can walk by the water and enjoy the wonderful views of Moscow. The park is a monument of Soviet landscape architecture and was planned in the 1930s, using the design principles of European parks. Work on the restoration of the station and the park has received numerous international awards. When my friends from England visit me, they often ask, where can you relax in Moscow? I advise them to visit Gorky Park. I often come here myself. In my opinion, this is the most trendy and most popular park in the Russian capital. On weekdays, there are up to 40,000 people that come here. On holidays and weekends, that number increases to an incredible 250,000 people. Today it's Sunday, so I assume there will be a lot of people in the park right now. Gorky Central Park of Culture and Leisure is located practically in the center of the city, on the bank of the Moscow River. To Muscovites, it's simply known as Gorky Park. Nominally, its territory is divided into 4 parts: Parterre, Museon, Niskuchny Sad, and Sparrow Hills. You can enter the park from several parts of the city, but if you're here for the first time, we recommend that you enter the park through the central gate. This location is a hallmark of Gorky Park. The height of this arch is more than 23 meters. It was built in 1955. Previously, it contained the park management and various technical rooms. At one point, there was even a film and photo studio here. Now, after a large-scale reconstruction, these rooms have been opened to the public. Here, you'll find the Gorky Park Museum and a fabulous observation deck. The museum and viewing platform are open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day except Monday. There is a fee to enter the museum, but it is worth every ruble. The museum is the first and perhaps the only Gorky Park museum in Moscow. Here it's possible to see how the park looked during the Soviet times. In the exhibition here, there is a lot of rare photo and video material. For example, behind me, the parachute tower. This was built in the 30s and was one of the most popular attractions of Gorky Park. This year, Gorky Park turns 93 years old. It was opened on August the 12th, 1928. In those years, the park even had its own personal march.
To fight tirelessly and ardently, to end the battle victoriously. In the Park of Culture, the Workers' Park, you'll find a fighting charge. Here, training and song and laughter in battle with enemies of the flag. The park, the proletariat cultural foundry. The park, the foundry of the 5-year plan.
In the USSR, Gorky Park was built as an experimental site, an ideal recreational area for Soviet workers. There was nothing like it, neither in form nor in substance, in the young country at the time. At one location, there were amusement rides, holiday homes for a day's stay, a kindergarten, playground, cinema, and theatre, the corner of silence, with an alley of hammocks, tea and snack bars, and much more. It is not surprising that the English writer H.G. Wells, during his visit to Moscow in 1935, called the park a factory of happy people. It was in those years that the park became famous all over the world. Many years later, it is still a favorite place among both Muscovites and guests to the Russian capital.
I like visiting during the week when it's a little less crowded and you can walk around more peacefully. And in general, the atmosphere is so pleasant. You walk, you have a nice time. Everyone's cheerful, active. We've probably outgrown it a little bit, because it's certainly more youthful. 20s and 30s are the norm now. We're in the next age bracket. But on the whole, it's very nice. My child really enjoys it, especially this area. This is our first time here, and we decided we will definitely have to come here again, probably more than once. It's fun here, especially for kids.
Now, every visitor has the opportunity not only to learn the history of the park, but also to see it from above. The observation deck is located at a height of 18 meters. There are 3 binoculars here with which you can view the entire park and all the surroundings in great detail. On one side, there is a beautiful view of the park itself, as if in the palm of your hand you can see flower beds, alleys, and the main fountain of the parterre area. On the other side is Krimsky Val, where you can see another area of the park, Museon and the new Tretyakov Gallery. As soon as the heat comes to the city, the verandas and sporting equipment rentals are opened in the park. The whole area is filled with people, school children, students, athletes, mothers with children. They all find activities that interest them here. Su Sin and friends visit Gorky Park at different times of the year. In winter, they go skating. In spring and summer, they visit the exhibitions.
Gorky Park is a very big park. We can play various sports here. We can go to an exhibition along the Moscow River in the Tretyakov Gallery. In my opinion, Gorky Park is like a combination of nature and art, where we see a different kind of contemporary art. I think it's very wonderful.
The Chinese students are studying at Lomonosov Moscow State University. They come from different provinces of China and have gotten to know each other here in Moscow.
2 years ago, my family came to Russia to travel. On that trip, we also visited Gorky Park. And at that time, we also bought ice cream. It was delicious.
Sahuayu and his parents liked Moscow so much that their family made a decision. After graduation, their only son would continue his studies in Russia. Now he's studying in the Higher School of Translation at Moscow State University.
I really like Oktyabrskaya metro station and Pushkin Square. Also, the Moscow State University building. These are good places. Sparrow Hills and that area.
Today, the Chinese students are planning to explore the park by taking a sightseeing tour on an electric bus.
Our most recent addition to the park is a red electric bus. It runs throughout the park. It allows visitors to travel around the park, both in summer and winter. The bus comes equipped with audio tours for children and adults, but it can also feature a live tour guide.
The electric bus program includes tours for children from 6 years old, fairy tales of the old park, and in summer, adults can take the tour Waltz of the Flowers. Tour guides will tell of how colourful lawns and flower beds were created and share secrets of the landscape architects of the USSR. During the tour, you can also see the Central House of Artists.
This place had been empty for a very long time. In the middle of the last century, it was decided to create here, on one side, the Artists' Administration, and on the other, a branch of the Tretyakov Gallery. As a result, the project was combined into one. It was completed by 1979, and its creators dubbed it the Moscow Parthenon, because it was the largest exhibition space of the last century.
The sightseeing tour also includes a visit to the largest open-air sculpture museum in Russia, in which there are more than 400 works of art on display. But if you want to ride around the park on your own, you can use different rentals located throughout the park.
In each area of Gorky Park, there are 3 points where you can rent equipment. There are electric scooters, there are bicycles for adults and children, which come in a wide variety: sport bikes, leisure bikes, road bikes. There are also fat bikes, which have big tires, and there are electric cars.
Rental hours are from 10 in the morning to 10 in the evening. The prices are quite reasonable. The minimum rental time for an electric scooter or bicycle is half an hour. There are also velomobiles, which cost a little more. And do not forget your ID. Without it, you won't be able to rent a thing. I'm now standing near the Museum of Contemporary Art, known as Garage. It's perhaps one of the most famous and probably coolest art museums in Moscow. And it's not just a place where you can see great works of art from contemporary artists from all around the world. They also hold here many other events, including the Japanese Festival of Culture, J-Fest. J-Fest Summer Festival has been held annually at Art Square in Gorky Park since 2009. One of its organizers is the Moscow Department of Foreign Economic and International Relations. J-Fest Summer is the largest open-air festival of Japanese culture in Moscow and Russia's first variation on the theme of traditional Japanese festival Natsu Matsuri. And it is impossible to imagine them without a noisy fair, bon adori, traditional Japanese dances, and that special atmosphere of a holiday. Unfortunately, this year, like last year, almost all the festivals had to be cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, in previous years, all national festivals held in various parks of Moscow attracted a huge number of spectators and always became a cultural event in the life of the city. The days celebrating India, Japan, Indonesia, Thailand and Italy do not only acquaint Muscovites with the life of these countries, but also strengthen economic ties between Russia and other countries. Let's hope that in the foreseeable future the borders will open, national festivals will again be held in Moscow parks, and Muscovites will once again be able to enjoy this vibrant cultural exchange. Gorky Park is interesting not just for adults, but for kids also. This place is full of really creative and bright ideas. For example, this playground, which is called Ravine. As you can see from the number of kids there, it's really popular. And I'm no kid, but I definitely want to go in there and get involved. We continue our walk through the park and approach the Andreevsky pedestrian bridge. Almost every evening for more than 15 years, fans of Latin American dance have been gathering here on Pushkinskaya Embankment. A few years ago, I was traveling in Cuba and I had the opportunity to have a few salsa lessons. It was sensational. And here today in Gorky Park, I have the opportunity to actually repeat those amazing sensations. So I'm off to dance. People dance salsa, bachata, merengue and kizomba on the Pushkinskaya Embankment. You can learn to dance these exotic dances here for free. All levels of dancers are welcome. One of the teachers you can meet here is Cuban Gabriel Nicot Valdez. He has lived in Moscow for over 20 years and jokingly calls himself a Russian. For all these years, he's been teaching Latin American dance to Muscovites.
When you dance, you forget your problems. You're always positive, and you always tune into something better. Dancing is very inspiring.
Gorky Park Embankment equally attracts both those who have been dancing for many years and those who have just started to learn the basic steps. The secret to successful training is a good mood and the presence of an experienced teacher such as Gabrielle.
Come here. Show me. To the side.
Oh, just like that?
Up.
It's so easy.
Well done, well done.
Super.
That's great. Now open and move your hips. Cool. Ready. Officially rocked.
The day is drawing to a close, but life in the park does not stop. As darkness falls, the open-air cinema, Moschino Mission, opens its doors for 300 spectators. The first show starts at 9 o'clock. Tickets are only sold on the website of the cinema or in a special app.
We show films from all over the world. We organize national film festivals, and we are friends with all the independent distributors and organizations that bring this kind of cinema to Russia and to Moscow in particular.
spoiler。
那我了解你没有关系啊。
At the beginning of 2021, work recommenced on improving Moscow's squares, parks and streets. This work had been stopped last year due to the coronavirus pandemic. So soon in Moscow we'll see new places to walk, beautiful viewing platforms and new ponds. I'm Mike Gibson, and do explore Moscow and the new possibilities to go for beautiful walks in this amazing city. See you in the next programme. Bye.